Alright, game number 3. So game number 2 is a game that I'm doing with Mickey X and SK Telecom. Obviously won that game. I didn't watch it too extensively because I did the previous review a bit too long and I was just in time to start game 3. I'm going to do game number 2 with Mickey X and that's going to be uploaded later. Today this is probably going to be up earlier than the second game. So I'm just going to leave that to then. I think it's a perfect game to talk with Mickey about because there's some unique bot lane matchups there and we can talk about bot lane in general and how it is to play against the Galio and all this fancy jazz. But I think this, where I stopped it right here, is perfect because we can still take a look at the previous draft and you can see that they did in fact bust out the freaking Leona the last time. And the main question for me is, were SK Telecom red side the last game? It just seems strange to me that RNG banned Kalista then. I sincerely doubt that happened. I feel, yeah, SKT were blue side last game, so they won the blue side match. Is blue side just way more OP than red side? Is that what we're talking about? Because this time around, SK Telecom first picked Galio, banned Jarvan, Janna, Tristana, and then Kalista, Jace, Sejuani, and then Galio is the obvious pick. I think that draft is a lot better because there's no heavy trades, and I like the fact that Camille is popping off here as well because Camille and Galio have an insane amount of synergy. Gragas comes in as well as the pick for blank, and I think a big issue on blue side has been that Gragas has been a ban right here. RNG banning Gragas. I think you have to ask yourself if on red side it's better to sub in sub in Peanut, and then on blue side just play blank because he actually gets a hold of the Gragas because of the draft, right? So as it stands right now, not too certain. Janna becomes a ban here for SK Telecom. Galio's still in the picture. Lulu's in the picture. I like banning Janna over Lulu because the last time on red side SK Telecom did in fact ban Lulu. RNG just don't give a fuck. They go for the woman on the pig. SKT are happy with picking Galio again. This is Galio Lulu time. So has to be Galio Lulu time, no? I guess with Tristana you could play Leona or maybe something crazy. Galio Tristana it is again. RNG. Assuming they go like Lulu Kogo or something here. Taric over Lulu. Is Lulu just shit? Is that what is universally agreed upon, that Lulu is just crap? Lulu does struggle against Blitzcrank, and SKT did show that they are willing to play it, and Lulu is really bad against Blitzcrank, I would say. Whoa. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Vayne. This is not the first time we see it into Tristana. Trading-wise, it does fine into Tristana, but Tristana is going to be able to push in this lane matchup. And SKT just picked Zac. I don't know. I'm not too excited about Zac. I'm not a big fan of Zac at all. I think SKT probably should just picked up Lulu and be happy with it. I think Lulu against Taric and Vayne, you should be very happy with it, and I think that's about enough. But right now, as it stands, I'm not too excited about Zac again. I think Zac is not great. You don't see what you're playing against, and once again here, SKT, they don't drop a. It's strange how the bans that are coming in here are not necessarily target towards Lulu. Like Lulu gets through the pick and ban phase, and on top of that, no Malzahar ban from SKT. I think SKT just have the thought process that Galio was pressuring the Malzahar very hard early on, and if anything, I think Xiao should be running TP in the next one. I think if he's playing Malzahar now, he should run TP against Galio and it will be easier. Okay, there's a rise. I think Rise does fine into Galio as well. I think he might struggle more against Zac because he doesn't have the passive like Malzahar. And I think Tristana and Lulu are going to give him a lot of trouble later on, but of course he's going to run Cleanse and it's not going to be too bad. RNG have a very low range composition here, and they have a lot of damage, but a lot of, like, it's very low range, and I think it all comes down to how the Taric ultimate is being used. And Camille is not necessarily like the greatest pick in the Maokai, but at least it synergizes very well with the comp. I think the Gangplank pick would be quite bad here. You know, the Gangplank pick didn't work out, and I feel like Camille gives you the option to at least play into it, and I think it gives you a lot of opportunities in terms of what you want to snowball. Because I think Gangplank is, even if you're ahead on the Gangplank lane, it's not like you're gonna just straight up dive. I think with Camille, it gives you an option to play into something. And looking at the previous game, Huni did have success with Camille. It seems I didn't watch the second game. I have to admit that, because my first game review was a bit too long, and I want to do the second game with my boy Mickey. So let's see. This time around, I'm not too hyped on the Vayne. Looking at the comp that the enemy team has, like, Vayne is going to have a very easy time dealing with Galio and Zac and Camille. That is very fair when it comes to Vayne and the strength of Vayne. But the question is then, you know, Shen was out, Maokai was picked by Let Me. I think it comes down to what happens in this early game, because I feel like if Tristana and Lulu reach critical mass, then it should be very easy for them to carry this game. That is just how I feel. You know, they have a very front-loaded front line, you know, a very beefy front line, and I think that's what it will come down to. So all in all, I'm trying to just assess which comp I prefer the most. I have to say I prefer SK Telecom's comp. They are the ones with the better late game, I would say. Depends on how the early game goes, of course. Like, if Vayne is ahead and can all of a sudden outshoot the Tristana, then that matters as well. A big thing here is that Vayne and Taric, they synergize together quite well. Like, if Vayne can get 3 bullets off on enemy AD during Taric ultimate, then, you know, that's good enough for you to win a fight and deal with the fact that Tristana is so strong in the later parts of the game. I think a big part of this as well is the early game. I feel like Zac is a big problem. I feel like Zac is just an issue. Like, I feel like if RNG managed to capitalize early enough in the game, together with Sejuani, maybe a Rise goes into an early roam, or maybe a kill in Huni, and all of a sudden the game is going to be wide open. And if that's the case, RNG could be able to snowball the game out of hand. I think Zac is not a premium jungler, and when you see these matchups, you have to just ask yourself if you would rather just have a jungler that can play the AD junglers, toss him in there on red side, and then Blank on blue side again when he can play Gragas. Because Blank is your average Tonk player, and, you know, in this case, if SK Telecom had Elise, I think it would have been, you know, juicier. I think Elise could have been a lot better here, because they just need to transition that Tristana and Lulu into later part of the game in a very healthy state. And I think Zac is anything like it's just a liability right now. He got leashed, didn't get leashed from Galio this time around. He got spotted on the Raptor boards. We didn't talk about it, but RNG did go for kind of an early invade to just drop a ward on the Raptors just to see where Zac is pathing. You can see the MSG already did his own red buff, and he's just walking towards the top side camps, because doing Raptors as Sejuani is meh. You know, you don't want to do it. You want to kill them Groms, you want to kill them puppies, because they are big and beefy, and the percentage health damage from E and your passive actually matters. Same way MXG here with a Z does exactly the same on to the Golem. Galio has a ward on him here. Faker sees this coming, he just walks away, no stress. Stun doesn't come off. Faker does some trading, kind of unnecessary, but of course he can TP back up into the lane. Doesn't have enough for a Doran's ring just yet, so him basing right now could be awkward. Could potentially see a situation where RNG would set up a dive. But let's see if Zach can get past this huddle of his, hurdle is the word, not huddle. The hurdle where he's weaker for a time period. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, okay. Whoa! I didn't think about this. Shit. And did Blank just fuck his wave? Like, what the fuck was this? He just ease and kills all the creeps. Holy moly. What? Blank just fucked him, man. I think he's gonna TP back into this. I guess he's just pushing in the wave. Like, Blank is just pushing in the wave for him, and my goodness, Yahoo with the play. It's such a perfect time as well because the wave is in such a shitty position. And I guess the play that SKT are going for here is that Zach just pushes out all the way and then Galio moves. At the same time, where Zach is being spotted in mid, because Sejuani is coming down bottom here, Faker's TPing in. Faker TP's bottom and saves the day. And you gotta ask yourself, Galio is OP, but it seems like Faker is the best performer on SKT. Yeah, of course, it's bad for me to say that after he gets solo killed by Yahoo, product of the gang from MLZ. Let's give him an imaginary assist because he did chunk him by a ton. And I think the trade that Faker just did was really shitty, and this is not gonna be good either. There's no flash on Faker. Blank has flash, and Blank is fucking dead already. Man. Holy moly. RNG. When he's doing well up top, but let's take a step back and just assess the situation. Alright, so Faker trades on to MXG. And then Faker and Blank. Fucking Blank is over 4 and Faker's over 3, man. Holy shit, he is getting jizzed on, man. And then they kill the Raptors, they steal them away. The root lands before Zach gets to E out. And then Blank is just trying to find a flash angle, finds it way too late. I think he had to just flash earlier. Like right here, he needed to just flash. Flash. Whoa. Flash, and then like Faker walks up to Rise and just taunts him. It's also strange that we see this coming from Zach, because I think Zach is so garbage early. But they thought they found an opportunity. Rise is not losing anything by walking into here. And they root Zach while he's eating. So the main thing for me here is that if he flashes, they won't get a hold of him unless Rise roots him. And then after Rise roots him, he can just get away, no problem. Maybe he could potentially even E in. Like if he would E in here towards MLG, then MLG maybe would be falling down. MLG. He doesn't proc. Like he doesn't proc his own Colossus, and I feel like this could have potentially been a situation that could have been better. But the main thing is if they commit for MLG, like Zhao has a tear already, and he would be able to stay in the fight for a very long time, and MSG would flash away eventually, and then Rise would potentially, I don't know, he could go as far as double killing. So I don't know, I feel like flashing out and then, without the root coming onto him, I feel like he could have just walked away, and then Rise eventually has the root. And then when the root lands, he can just E away before Sejuani gets the stun off. So I think it was definitely a misplay, and my goodness. This is crazy stuff, because it's such a perfect way to do it. Jahu, after all, he even pulls the wave with him. So the wave doesn't push. I think Blank played this horribly. This is like Blank is gonna get subbed out for this one, man. This was terrible. And you could also argue that the play was bad in the first place, that they went for that because Rise was there. It's going to be fantastic, and then Galio has no flash, and that's gonna make them weaker. Let me with the Doran's ring. I'm not sure how we got this base off. I don't want to go back long enough to kind of chase for it and look for it. But Rise is in a wonderful state right now. He can pressure the shit out of the Galio. He can trade with him, and SKT are just doing SKT things, or not. I mean, Vayne things. Vayne's getting pushed into the turret and taking a lot of, turret damage already. SKT are just maintaining, and the question is if Rise can alleviate pressure for them from this, because this is working out for SKT, and top lane seems to be fine for Huni. Huni is on a base disadvantage though, so this is something we have to point out. He's at a base disadvantage, and the enemy Maokai does have a Doran's ring, so his mana pool is going to be a lot healthier than Camille's mana pool. And right now, Lemmy's in a pretty good state up top. He should be able to pressure. Let's see what where Blank leads us next, because Huni is too low on mana for him to go top. He needs to just TP back. He's going to TP back into lane, and then Lemmy potentially, if he pushes this in time, could potentially do something. But okay, there's a heal on Jahu. Alright, Jahu should be completely dead. Okay, so this is a bit disappointing that Jahu just with his advantage kind of overextends. Sejuani is doing red buff right now, and Zac still has some strengths, right? The big difference that we mentioned earlier is that this time around he actually is able to gank mid lane with ease. Like with his E, he can find a lot of different angles to find a gank. Right here, the question is, does he get spotted by this ward that is placed on Raptors? I'm assuming not, because nobody actually pinged them out, and I feel like at this level of play, you have to assume that the enemy team just doesn't know. And Jawo is just walking a bit too far here, and the turret damage is enough to kill him. I think in a case where he wasn't under the tower either, he would have just died because of the red buff on Blank. So Jaho being a bit too trigger happy there. Puts Galio back on the map. And the freeze gets stopped. The question is as well if Jaho should have run cleanse in this game instead of the freaking heal. Like, heal is definitely better against Zac. And heal is good in this case because Zac and Galio don't have that much damage compared to some other mid laners. Well, to be fair, Galio does have damage. And Zac's damage is not that bad either. So, what am I saying? There's some mid laners with more burst for sure. And heal could mean the difference between surviving a combo or not. It also allows you to move out of spells, right? Like you can dodge a Zac He, or you can dodge Galio from taunting you, or something like this. But in the end, like if you get chain CC, this is not going to matter anyway. Sometimes you're not going to be able to heal yourself out of a Galio W. Sometimes Galio E is just going to land. But Jaho just played way too aggressive in a moment where MLG was just doing red buff. And I think in any case, RNG should just be playing through mid lane, and the 2v2 should be a lot stronger. Blank is in better position now to support Jahu though. Blank has cooldown on his E for another 3 seconds. So MSG was in fact in a better position to support it because of the lack of spells on Blank. Small trade, not that big of a deal for Faker, loses a bit of HP and his shield. Huni has full fervor stacks here. Let's see if he's going to continue. It's a matchup I haven't seen in a long time, but I'm assuming that You know, Camille just needs to reach 1 or 2 items before this really kind of pushes the matchup heavily in favor of Huni. But right now, you know, Maokai seems to be doing fine. You know, Ninja Tabi and the sustain seems to be fantastic here. Huni just bases to get Corrupting Potion. Alright. Faker has Flash. Blanky's out. TP from Let Me. Faker gets rooted after he flashes out. And it's a rough one. I like what RNG are doing here though. They're pressuring dive onto Huni, and I don't know. I just don't know if I'm a fan of picking Camille into Maokai. It doesn't seem like a good matchup to me. And Maokai can legit just cancel Camille E, and it just feels like it's hard for Camille to stick on to Maokai, and Maokai can just do the effective trades that he wants to do, in a sense that he just gets his short trades off, does his spells, and then walks away. And without Camille E being able to be that effective, I don't know. I don't think this is a great matchup for Camille. Like, Camille still synergizes with Galio, of course, but looking at this, Faker playing into his bottom side, but his bottom lane is in base and they don't have priority, so they don't really have a space to run to. You know, usually if you play into this side of the map, you know, you just E into the river there, and nice uses of Rise ultimate here kind of cuts Faker's path in half. And then after that, you know, in a case where SKT's bot lane have priority, then it's better, right? But Bang is just coming out of base right now, so that makes it terrible. And Faker had safety in a sense towards Zac, but that safety doesn't exist if RNG are the first one to collapse here. I think this has also been an issue in group stage for SK Telecom, where they made decisions where not everyone could participate, and Bang was in base, and Faker has taken the decision to push mid lane at this time. And RNG just need to continue doing the same. They just need to play through mid, look for these pickups in mid, and Rise is super powerful. Rise is super fed. Need to just keep playing with this Rise. As Vayne, like, how many games of Vayne has Uzi played? Botlane Tower seems to be able to fall anytime soon. Rise is pretty beefy, like, he doesn't have mercs yet, but he has heal, and maybe he can just get the movement speed off from the E. That is Storm Raiders. Heal comes off. Faker really low on HP. There's the ultimate, but very well timed. Oof. Alright, the double runes come off. Turret first for SK Telecom. Oh! Holy. What would Yahoo do? Okay, I'm gonna go back here. So the ult should just come in now, I feel, onto Faker. Then Yahoo just actually gets his combo off, and I think he's dead. Like, if he just... If you just ease and then ult him, I feel like it's a lot better. Because I'm not too sure about the cooldown on Faker's W. Because I'm just thinking that MLG could have ulted earlier, and then he could have stunned up Faker, and then Zhao could have actually gotten spells off. But just because it came so late, Blank got his E back up, and let's take a look at this. Blank does have his E up, but under the turret it seems a lot more dangerous, and Blank E is up now. And Zhao was forced to flash away. Ease again for the rune charge. Kind of feel that RNG could have played this better. Let's take a step back even further. Like, it starts off in kind of a bad fashion here for RNG. In a way that Zhao is walking up very far on the wave. And then, you know, Sejuani is nowhere to be found. She's doing wolves right now, and then comes into mid lane. And Zhao was really, really low on HP the moment MLG came in here. Oh, actually, Sejuani ulti was on cooldown. Sejuani ulti was on cooldown right here. I'm calling for Sejuani ult and saying it's a misplay from MLG, but it comes off cooldown and he throws it the moment it does. I don't know if they could have also potentially just hit Blank right here. Like, if at any point in time they could have just swapped towards Blank instead of going for Galio. Like, Galio is the one without flash, so that's fair. I think what it comes down to is the main issue from the start is that Zhao gets so chunked while Sejuani is doing camp on top side, and you know, there's a lot of dead angles that you have to work with when it comes to Ryze. Like, it's hard for you to just push up the wave freely against Zac, and Sejuani needs to like get constant information of Zac, or just be in your lane pretty much whenever there's an opportunity for SKT to gank you. Because right now, like, the decision from RNG was to do wolves with MSG. If it's the right one, that is like a different argument, but he did. The wave was slow pushing towards Zhao, and it could have potentially opened up for SK Telecom to just push out mid lane. If Ryze had to give it up, push out mid lane, and then roam into bottom. It doesn't seem like it would have mattered because Lulu and Tristana got the bottom tower regardless. So it doesn't feel like it matters, you know, the decision here from SKT. I mean, the decision from MLSG. I feel like he should have been able to do wolves, and giving up mid lane priority would have been fine. Alright, this is a freaking cancel from Camille. Lemmy doesn't have TP. Uziah gets healed up by Taric. Like, Vayne can chase this for a very long time. There's no Sejuani ultimate. Ryze has no ultimate either. I think he already ulted in. Galio ultimate is going to be huge. Flash gets just flashed over. Blank has no flash. Faker has no flash and he's in the mix. And Uziah does a lot of damage to him. There's a stun, and are we here again? Are we here again? In this situation that SKT are just putting themselves in. This feels like a bit of a deja vu from the first game. So this is massive. You know, the fact that Lemmy gets the cancel onto Camille, this is so huge. Because this is a great situation for SKT. If Camille gets her TP off, you know, this is easy double kill. Lemmy no TP. And Let Me's been clutch here with the TP cancel. I think with the TP cancel, the 4v4, like the Taric ultimate shows a lot of value, and even though Vayne can't push, she's super strong in the fights at this point in time, you know, with her ultimate, and like right in this case, you know, Uzi is super powerful. Like, he does a lot of damage with his ultimate on, and you know, Sejuani is much more useful than Zac, I feel. And then Galio being forced to TP in while Ryze is already in position. Like, Ryze doesn't get to do that much before anything happens. Like, Galio is the first one that does something. So Ryze advantage doesn't matter too much. I think more than anything, the biggest hurdle there was the fact that the TP of Camille was cancelled. I want to take a step back and just look at the situation up top and what happened in order for Let Me to burn his TP back up top. Oh, he TP'd. Oh yes, I forgot. He TP'd into mid lane and then rooted up Faker, and there we go. He just picked up an assist there. Okay, I forgot about this. And I didn't mention it at all. I would love to like ask some top laners about Maokai and Camille. Like, my understanding is that Maokai should be better. Should be better for a very long time. It's not like it's Fiora against Maokai. That's a completely different scenario. And here we have this situation again that we watched over and over. Then we had the TP into bottom. All the CDs were used here by RNG and it got neglected, and Uzi is still in the mix. Like, he's still in the battle. He doesn't have to be scared of anything and walks in and still does a lot of damage. So SKT used all their abilities on a target to take this person out of the fight. Didn't matter in the end. Uzi still did a lot of damage regardless of the situation in SKT. I think the main thing that fucked them there was the fact that Huni got cancelled. I don't think they would have ever went for this play without Huni's TP, and you know, Galio, I don't think, like, he ulted in, right? He ulted in and everyone just flashed over and walked forward, pretty much ignored him. And RNG now, you know, sure, like, Vayne should be in position to get Ginsu's. She's going to be way stronger than Vayne. Ryze in mid lane is also super beefy. Most likely, I was surprised he didn't go for Mercs earlier on. And Camille, it takes a long time here for Camille to scale into the game. So RNG have like a massive window where they have a big advantage into SK Telecom. I think if anything, RNG just needs to continue to play through mid lane and then walk into the top side and create something from happening. And this could be also dangerous from SK Telecom. Like, this could be a situation where RNG could just force a fight once again, and they are very happy with it at this point in time. SKT need to scale into the game a lot longer, and them forcing bottom like that and not getting anything out of it is a big problem. And whenever SKT have forced something, it just ended bad. It's I don't know if the cameraman is just not showing, if Sejuani just re-aggroed it. So Sejuani re-aggroed the Rift Herald right now. So it's 5k. It's 5k and Sejuani is hitting it and kiting it back and forth. And that's what we have to assume here that Sejuani is doing. Fucking camera work is horrible in this situation, but it's all good, you know. It's alright, man. And then the fucking Rift Herald just gets captured by MXG. So MSG didn't allow it to reset, he just went on it, and it's kind of strange SKT that he just didn't really contest it in time. Sejuani is dealing with it right now, and I don't know if she gets spotted by wards. By the looks of it, she doesn't. By how SKT are playing, it also seems like she doesn't. And the Rift Herald gets picked up. Kind of strange how RNG gets it for free there. Kind of hope that SKT, with the fact that they started Rift Herald like the way they did, just to force a reaction from RNG. Kind of hope that they place a ward or have some vision in this area. But, So Tristana Lulu pushed out bottom and walked into mid, while Galio and Camille were in topside. RNG match and MLSG face checks this, and Rise walks towards bottom. And while SKT have this pressure from bottom and this wave stacking from bottom, they're losing Rift Herald. I think this is a big deal. SKT should be the ones getting Rift Herald here. I think if anything, like Rise is showing up bottom, RNG are pretty much winning the map 4v5, while Rise is bottom and doing things. SKT are going for push up top side, but Rift Herald could be used in mid lane and potentially used for something positive. MSG is up here. Kind of strange that RNG are going for this turret defense, but so far so good. Blank is taking... Ooh! Whoa, Blankovic. Where's your flash, brother? Where's your flash? Come on, dude. Where is the flash? And this wonky defense from RNG just pays off somehow. Because by the looks of it, Maokai and Tarek Sejuani, sure they can survive on the turret for a long time, but the way it starts, it looks horrible. And after that, SKT should be able to just out-attack the wave with Bang and out of the sensor. But Blank dying is a negative consequence for sure. Camille has a very hard time against Vayne. But luckily she has a turret that can do the trading for her. And Blank dying for no reason is also a big deal. Because you take a look here, a Faker is going to go back into mid lane and Huni's going to go and catch bottom. Maokai has the TP advantage right now, and I think the top tower is just most likely going to fall here unless there's some TP shenanigans coming in. Interesting turret defense here though from RNG. I'm not too sure if it's the right decision. If they should just, instead of contesting top side, just aim to rotate into mid lane and commit into mid lane completely. Because SKT made it kind of obvious that they're going top, and with the vision RNG having River, the Crab, actually just wards around the Crab area. I think they can see this play coming from SK Telecom, and with that in mind, I think the rotation from Rise and Sejuani and Tarek into mid lane would have been completely possible, but they just thought that they could defend. Went 1-for-1. They did delay it and managed to even make the turret survive. So who am I to argue with the logic of RNG? Well, yes, I am a coach, so I should know about these things, and it just seemed super risky. I think if Blank could have played better. Speaking of Blank playing better, oh, he's lucky that the CC was being burnt. The CC was being used into his ultimate. Huni now on the side lane struggling against the Maokai. And I'm not too sure if it's just plain wrong to have Lulu Tristana in top lane as of right now. Because RNG can dive really easily. Like, their combo is really, really good at diving. They have 2 beefy tanks and Huni flashes out. Okay. And then the main question is if Tristana and Lulu should be the ones in mid lane and Faker should be the one top side. Because this trade-off mid for top tower, I don't think I'm not that big of a fan. Maokai manages to maintain pressure on Camille throughout as well. Seems to be not the greatest matchup for Camille. We'll just have to see what she does when she has her ultimate, and God is going to participate in that. RNG do have a severe lack of wave clear, which puts Tristana and Lulu in a very good position to hit turrets if it's necessary. But with the Rift Herald up top, Rise as priority into mid lane. Lulu and Tristana are taking a bit too much of an aggressive path here. They should just run away because they're not in a position to take mid priority. I think they should just run back straight to mid. They're walking into top side. MLSG is ready to go. Ryze is ulting. He comes in and bang, gets rooted up and eventually killed. Galio, is he gonna die now? Faker doesn't have flash. Takes a little damage from Vayne. Like, Vayne is killing him, and you know, RNG had like the best team combo ever to dive people with. Like, Vayne is fantastic in this. Okay, holy moly. It all comes down to like SKT getting caught, and then they are committing too much to solve the issue. Like, Huni's coming in from behind here, but it's way too late, and Letme doesn't even need to participate. My goodness. Is this Baron? Like, the Baron killing team from RNG is pretty insane, and I don't know, man. If they get Baron already, it's just so crazy because they can dive. They can dive so easily with this comp. Like, they can chase people down, they can Maokai ult, and the Taric ultimate's gonna land, and they can just keep steamrolling whatever's in front of them. So this game will be really hard for SKT to stall out. Very, very hard. Wow. I don't know. Maybe we'll see SKT praying Gorilla next year. That's what I'm predicting. You know, I saw some Longzhu financial issues. Problems again. And after this year of Bang and Wolf, maybe it's time for them to get the belt and the boot. I'm just kidding. I think Bang and Wolf are still great players. But for the caliber of SKT and the expectations of SKT this time around, you know, I'm not too satisfied. But looking at this game, it's just skirmishes over skirmishes, and LPL and RNG is just doing it better. They're doing it better. They are outnumbering the enemy team. They're responding correctly, and they're always, you know, it's always happening when SKT put themselves in a position where it's worse for them. So the first game, it happened a lot when SKT were in a position to... Oh, this is going really fast here. Camille is on the side lane, but you know, what is the plan? What is the plan from SKT? They need to look for a fight. RNG are just continuing the push. What is happening, man? They're just continuing. Like, RNG can die very easily, but 2 turrets, I don't know about that one, mate. They're not losing much HP. Taric can heal up AoE-wise, and it can be very good. The Ryze ultimate comes in. Oh, the Gali ultimate on top of that shit. Lemmy is in the mix. RNG are just trying to go for the end. What is going on, man? They're going for the end. It's working. SKT don't really have a way in anymore. Gali ultimate was used. Camille's also breaking the base. Camilla's up top. It's kind of a base race going on. RNG now with the turnaround. I think trying to cancel the recalls there was really, really greedy. This could be like game losing. SKT now defending with 2. Camilla TPing back. This is so desperate. But this is over. Nah. 23 minutes. 23 minutes. 23 minutes. RNG winning a game in 23 minutes against SKT. SK Telecom in the playoffs. Holy moly. Oh! But that Rolex though, is that a Rolex? Or is it like an Omega? Could be an Omega. Is that an Omega or a Rolex? Looks like an Omega to me. It's a great watch, nevertheless. I'm sure it's really expensive. But my goodness, RNG just stomped. This composition was really unique. This is something that, Vayne's strengths. Let's talk about Vayne's strengths. She gets pushed in, she loses her first tower. That's like her weakness, She gets pushed in and loses her first tower. Almost every fucking game she's in. But then, it's good against tanks and good against Camille, right? It's good against Camille. Like, a lot of AD carries can struggle against Camille, but she can knock her away and also be invisible and stay in that pit with Camille without any big issues. And then she's really good at chasing people. Her passive allows her to do that, and I think the ultimate also amplifies that. And in this comp, it's very easy for RNG to just chase onto people, commit onto them with the Rise and the Taric ultimates, and it's very easy for them to stick onto targets, and Vayne can accommodate this very neatly. They're kind of this bulldozer that just keeps going forward. And the biggest issue for SK Telecom is that, in this game, is the 2v2 situation in mid. Xiaohu got massive advantages onto Faker, and I feel like the Galio just needs to be dropped. I feel like the Galio idea needs to be completely dropped. They need to move on to the next page in the Faker book, because, right now, like, I don't know if they give Xiaohu Galio, because I feel like RNG is going to execute that so much better. I think they just need to drop the Galio and ban it and put Faker on something else. And I don't know. There's a big issue for SK Telecom that they get put on Zac as well. I think Zac is garbage. I think Zac is I think it's useless. And then, the fact that they are taking these skirmishes bottom. Huni did get his TP cancelled, and I don't think Camille was the best pick into Maokai, and I feel like they just picked for the comp more than anything. It wasn't for the lane matchup. And they didn't want to go for that gangplank again that they were playing in the first game. Didn't work out that well for them. And all in all, crazy stuff. I think it comes down to the skirmishes. RNG does it better. And in a lot of cases, RNG are just outnumbering the enemy team. And it's crazy that they managed to get Rift Herald in that scenario. And in the case where where SKT don't go for the play bottom, they push it in and they're happy with it, and then they just walk into topside with Tristana Lulu, continue pushing the turrets and force Vayne to match and put him in an awkward situation. I think the game could have looked different, but that double kill on bottom, it just opens up so much, because the enemy team have tempo priority in that case. They can put the lane assignments that they want, and everything is fine and dandy for them. They managed to get Rift Herald as well after Tristana and Lulu pushed out bottom, and it was slow pushing very heavily into RNG's side, and Rise picked up that wave while RNG also took Rift Herald. So in theory, they took Rift Herald 4v5 because Rise is all the way bottom, and I think that was a problem too. And then we had Bang and Wolf. Rift Herald was used top, and Rise was pushing that wave in. Gali was stuck up top. And Bang & Wolf took the decision to push them mid-tower. Maybe it was a risk that they didn't need to take, because taking turrets for them should be a very easy thing to do. And they get caught. They try to respond with Galio and Zac, and then they lose Baron, and eventually they lose the game off of that. And what it comes down to, in this game, I feel like the TP and the play in mid lane is also quite clutch here, where Tristana gets caught. And that's what gives away Nashor, and I think that's why we have this image right here, because he's thinking about the Nashor he just gave away to the enemy team. But to be fair, Blank and Galio, like Blank and Faker, also came into that situation, tried to save him, and also died, and that matters too. But in the end, you could also argue that maybe RNG could do Nashor still with Tristana being gone. So, game number 4, match point. Royal never give up, 2-1 now. I think SKT is against the ropes. I feel like they've exhausted most of their things in the playbook, and right now, we need some fake classics in order for RNG to bounce back. I mean, in order for SK Telecom to bounce back. Let's take a look at what happens next. This was a very quick one. This was very, they got sliced in half. I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace.